I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop here on this Monday, December 8th. Welcome in, one and all, kiddos, as we come to you on a rainy, miserable day in the state. The atmospheric River Week is upon us. Coming up on the show today, we will do a deep dive in the fraud that is Jimmy Rogers. Who will the next Cougars head coach be? We'll talk about the Harry Ford trade. We will get into the Seahawks and their win yesterday over the Atlanta Falcons. We cover it all with the experts. That would be, of course, Cougar insider Jim Moore, the go-to guy, with just lists of names and replacements for Jimmy Rogers coming out of his ass. And then Michael-Shawn Dugar from The Athletic, the Dugar Report. We cover everything Seahawks. I will say today's show in the first 30, 40 minutes of it will be dominated by the fraud. And then when we get to Dugar, we'll get more into the Seahawks. We will touch in a little bit on the Harry Ford trade coming up there with the go-to guy. Every day we are able to do this because of the support of Limback Lumber. Big thanks to Limback Lumber. We are in the Limback Lumber studios. Everyone, they're going to take care of you. Whether you are a do-it-yourselfer or a small contractor, they're going to take care of you. They're going to offer free deliveries from everything from whole house packages to, again, home or do-it-yourself projects as well. Give them a call. Tell them I sent you, 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbacklumber.com. They're asking you always, or if you can, please visit wherever you are. Your local food bank. Limback Lumber does a lot of great work with the Ballard Food Bank because that's where they're located. But if you can donate some money, your time, food to your local food bank, they ask in this time during the holiday season that you do so. So not only are you doing it for yourself, you're doing it for people in need. You're doing it for the folks at Limback Lumber. You can visit me on all the social media platforms. It's the same everywhere. Puck Sports, except for TikTok. It's Puck_sports. And please visit us at pucksports.com. Become a full-time member of the Pucks Posse. You support everything we do here daily. Plus, we give you bonus shows throughout the week. He's not a bonus show because there's just not a price that we could put on our next guest that joins us 3 days a week. That's why he's got 3 different sponsors. And that's why it takes 5.5 minutes to get through all 3 of them. From the dark shadows of his work basement in Bend, Oregon. Apparently, there are no lights that work in Bend.
Look at that tree in the background, though. Look at my cougar tree. This is my cougar room, cougar tree.
It's a great-looking tree.
Thank you. $5. Cost me $5. Deschutes National Forest, you go out there with a saw, you cut it down yourself, you bring it home. Fresh tree. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And speaking of that, Christmas decorations. How about Christmas lights? Are you scrambling to get your Christmas lights up like I was yesterday? Are you untangling cords going, why didn't I put these back last year in a better shape than I left them this year? I threw them away. I got so frustrated. And if Bright Owl Lighting was in Bend, Oregon, I'd be calling Brian Turner at 360-675-2034, or I'd be going to brightowllighting.com. I got ladders out yesterday, too, and I was on the 3rd step, and I thought, I don't think I'll die if I fall from the 3rd step, but I might hurt myself. Don't be that guy. Don't get up on the ladders. Don't hang from the gutters. Call Brian Turner, again, 360-675-2034. I'm trying to speed through these sponsors because Puck's giving me crap about how long it takes, even though the Limback Lumber read seems to take forever to me. Brotherton Cadillac and Shoreline, Brotherton Cadillac and Brotherton Buick GMC in Renton. Get your wife a new car. We here at pucksports.com will supply the red bow you can put on the hood of that car. All right? So visit brothertonauto.com. Say hi to Brad Brotherton. Ask him what he thinks of Jimmy Rogers. Ask him what he thinks about Rick Neuheisel being the next coach. And then ask him if he'll give you a good deal on a new car. And I know his answer will be yes to that. Go Cougs. The Angry Beaver in Greenwood, I want to thank them too. Matt Baker there. Check it out. You got to go there. Monday Night Football tonight. If you go tonight, let me tell you something. You can get a free shot of Jägermeister. Tell Matt I told you could get that. And I'll give you something free too, because if the Chargers win tonight, I'll hit 2 parlays and win $200. Okay. I got a 2-team parlay with the Texans last night. I was bright enough to know that the Chiefs run is over. So I took the Texans on the money line last night. I got Justin Herbert with that broken hand of his tonight on the money line. So go to the Angry Beaver and watch the game tonight.
Okay. You got it all covered.
Yeah. How's that?
It was wonderful. You were great.
Yeah, Thank you. I didn't mean to take a shot at Limback Lumber because I love him.
Well, it's don't worry. I'll hear from
Paul. I love Paul.
Later.
Paul's the one I love over there
because
he hates that digital crap as much as I do.
Let's pull off that microphone. You're a little hot. I'll turn you down over here. You're a little warm. You're coming in a little hot. I'm
fired up today.
Well, let's go to the Jimmy Rogers is a fraud show of record. I'm going to play. You watched the press conference this morning, as did I, or at least I watched it later. He was asked by a reporter, it was a good question, by a young man about, why did you, what led you to Iowa State, going back to all these conversations? He got caught. The best thing about the question is that Jimmy Rogers got caught in, oh shit, and then tried to deflect the question and the answer, because it came to light over the weekend. It was an athletic story that Jimmy Rogers and the AD Pollard at Iowa State have been in contact like all the time. In fact, even acknowledged today that Pollard sends him a text before every game wishing him good luck. And so Rogers had just known that for me to get the Iowa State job is what the point of this question was. He had to take another step from South Dakota State. He couldn't go from South Dakota State to Iowa State to get the job. So the AD at Iowa State told him, you need to take another job. So he just took the Wazoo job just so he could get the Iowa State job. That's how the question basically was asked. This is a little long. It's 2 minutes, but I want you to hear the fraud that is Jimmy Rogers answering this question.
I needed to go to the next level. First off, is that true? Did you say that?
Here's the thing. In conversating what takes you to get to the next step in your life, we were referencing the next step at Iowa State, yes. Correct? And for me, I didn't take the Washington State job and move across the country to abandon in 1 year. Yeah. I didn't.
That's a lie. Lie number one.
Because I believed in that product and what I could produce there with the region, with how it felt, with the people that hired me, with the feeling that I had in, I was replacing a former coach that I had a relationship with, that I could ask his family, what did you think of the town, the community, the spirit, and get great advice on this is a good job at a great place with special people. When I went there, it was unbelievable. I had a great support. The Coug Nation is somewhat insane. Everything is go Cougs there. And I got to meet a bunch of great people and a bunch of spirited people. And when I got this opportunity, I felt a sense of remorse. There's no doubt about it. But at some point, and I will say it again, I have to think about my family through this, uniqueness in college athletics. And I won't apologize for this, because this is the best thing that's ever happened to me and my family, as far as this opportunity to be close to family, for my son and daughter to grow up with their cousins only a couple hours away. That's rare. But the opportunity to chase a championship, Big 12 championship, national championship, I couldn't turn that down. And to do it for somebody that cares and carries values very similar to me, with a sense of security for the future, it's extremely important. And so, was it true that I was just taking a jump to jump? I wasn't. I was taking the jump to advance my life and to try to compete to get into the college football playoff at the next step. And I know nobody wants to hear it, and I know I'll get bashed, but it is what it is. Everybody will find a way to complain about something, and I'm blessed to be here.
There you go. That was Jimmy Rogers answering the question. Again, it comes from an athletic story that he'd been in constant contact with the AD at Iowa State, and that the AD at Iowa State had told him, again, just to rehash it, you can't get the job yet until you take a step up. In fact, even in that athletic story, I think it was Stuart Mandel, he had asked Rogers, why did you take the Wazoo job? And he said, well, you told me to. And then he just tells an about-face lie there that this wasn't a stepping stone. It wasn't just, I just didn't do it to get the Iowa State job. Well, that's exactly why he did. And that's whatever. That's fine. I'm not going to really begrudge him for taking, if 10 years ago or 5 years ago, Jim, he had always had his sights on Iowa State. Number one, I don't believe that Iowa State is his dream job. Okay. It's fucking not. Okay. And if any, and God bless any Cyclone fans out there that really believe that the Iowa State job is this guy's dream job, you're an idiot.
But if he'd been an alum, maybe
he has another program. I guarantee that he has his eyes on. That is his dream job, whatever that is. It's not Iowa State. Okay. And Iowa State's a fine school and has had a fine like a football program, and Matt, it's fine. If that's his dream job, then he set his standards very low. Very low.
Well, he tried to point out it was because of the values and the culture that Matt Campbell had created before he went to Penn State. So he tried to, I don't know if he truly believed that in his heart of hearts, but that's what he said anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So just we can get into this, your reaction from it. I mean, I think it certainly caught everyone by surprise and off guard that he would leave after not even a calendar year there, by the way. He didn't really spend a full year in Pullman before he jumped ship. So your reaction when you first saw it, now is it the same as it is when you saw the news? I think it came down 5:00 Friday night.
Yeah, I just, I got a call from Mikey, actually, one of my kids, and he said, "Hey, Dad, Jimmy Rogers is gone." And I thought, oh, God, Mikey's probably, looking at some account that's just some fraudulent account, and that can't be. That's not possible. He just had his press conference announcing the new recruits and talking loyalty and trust and culture and all those buzzwords that every coach talks about.
Loyalty.
So I just thought Mikey was way off base, and I was like, okay. And then he sends me the screenshot from Pete Thamel from ESPN breaking the news, and I went, oh, shit. Well, yeah, it really did happen. And, yeah, all those things come to mind, and I know we got time to go over it, but initial reaction was, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to leave after 1 year, after all the things that you said when you came to town, went back and looked at his introductory press conference, listened to what he had to say Wednesday, thought about all the kids that were coming in that he had just told about the bright future that they were going to have at Washington State. And then all the while, you can't tell me that on Wednesday, while he was doing this, that he wasn't talking to Matt Campbell, because not Matt Campbell, the Pollard, the AD, because Matt Campbell Penn State had zeroed in on him because they butchered their whole coaching search and we're left with Matt Campbell. And so Pollard's scrambling around too. And he's like, well, shit, I've been in contact with Jimmy Rogers and sure would like it if he, got a little more experience, but guess I got to pull the trigger now. And I guess Rogers felt the same way, that he just needed to make the move. And it's all those things that we teach our kids that you're not supposed to do, though. And then like integrity, class, don't do to others as you want done to you and all that kind of shit, And then he just violated every one of those tenets that we try to live by. And then, I know that there's people out there that are going, oh, fine, Jim, you're full of shit too, because if you were going to triple your salary, you would have left the PI and gone to the Washington Post or whatever. I'm not so sure about that. I'm really not so sure about that, because I just love the Northwest and the Seattle area and all that while I was there. And then the other thing that we deserve, Puck, and I think this should be pointed out, you and I were the ringleaders, the band leaders of wanting Jed Fish to go to Florida. And so I think in some karmic way, we have this coming, and we got it served medium rare right in our faces. Okay. We did. So the Husky 100%. fans out there are going, hey, you deserve this. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
And I've heard from a lot of you, and you know what? You're correct. And we'll take it. Yeah, we will take it. You're damn right.
And we're used to it. We're used to our coaches coming and going, but I just still think it was a Bush League move on his part. Fuck him. I was so mad Friday night, and I know everybody thinks I was drunk. I wasn't. I was completely sober. I was just like, actually, honestly angry about how he could do that. And not just to me, the alum and all that, because he was boring as hell. I mean, he had success. And so I was putting the boring part aside, thinking, man, he's a good coach. We almost beat Ole Miss, almost beat Virginia. Could have beaten him. All those things I thought, well, I can deal with him being boring as hell as long as we're winning on the field. But I don't know. I'm just rambling here. And I just was genuinely angry, though, that someone would do that, especially to the kids. Forget the alums that are hurt by this, like me and you. The kids. Those kids. And now those kids are going to be going, well, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Maybe he'll take me to Iowa State. I don't know what I'm doing if I'm a recruit for Washington State right now.
I mean, I feel bad for those kids. I mean, they were certainly presented with the thing that we've said all along about all these guys. And I know I say it's a broken record. They all are professional liars. They lie. That's what they do for a living. They lie. And so you get up and you listen to them talk, and they're just lying. They lie through their teeth. And he was. I don't think
they necessarily want to lie, though, Puck. I agree with you that they lie. Like Jimmy Rogers, when he was introduced last year in Pullman, I don't think he was lying when he was saying what he was saying.
I mean, maybe not at that moment. He certainly was lying on Wednesday. I'll tell you that. He lied on Wednesday.
He did lie on Wednesday.
He sat up there and addressed a bunch of people and lied. He didn't lie. I don't care what he lied to his players. I don't care. He lied to a school that gave him an opportunity. Is what he lied to. Lied to his employer. He just sat out there and talked about, I'm not about no BS. Meanwhile, he's having a discussion with Iowa State. He's putting the finishing touches on a recruiting class that he's going to take them all the ones he wants.
A coach.
Okay, think about all the players. Again, now, I'm not going to be too sad about it because I can't be. And I don't think any alum should be sad about it, because if you didn't feel bad for South Dakota State when he did it, but he's going to take all these guys that you liked watching this year. Kirby Voorhees gone. Matt Woods gone. The freshman safety gone. The guys that he recruited last year that we were talking about getting excited about, like the freshman quarterback, gone.
Angel Johnson, if he has eligibility,
he can go. Carter Pabst, gone. The freshman linebacker, Schmilgen, or I can't never even say his name right, gone. Anthony Polano, number 0, gone. I mean, although they're all gone. But again, I can't get upset at that because they left South Dakota State. I remember getting an email from somebody right when he got hired. And again, we all do this as fans, and I didn't pay much attention to it, but it was an email from a guy that was a South Dakota State Jackrabbits fan. He just said, hey, he basically was like, he's not who you think he is. This guy just left South Dakota State after 18 years and just took all their players. He's not a great guy. And this guy's just butthurt. He's upset. He's mad that he left. But and I did think about that when he was hired. And I think we talked about if he had ever had success, he would leave. Now, did I think it would happen after a year? No. I thought maybe after year 3. I thought maybe even after next season. He has goes 8-4 next year. Something opens up. He's likely gone. I didn't think he would do it in a year in which he went 6-6, but he did anyways. But I always did think if this guy was willing to leave his alma mater and then on his way out of town takes their entire roster, he doesn't give a shit about our school. I mean,
that's a great point in hindsight, Puck, because I didn't think about that as much as I should have. You're right about that. That's his alma mater. He played there. He holds in reverence the longtime coach there. He got emotional talking about that guy today in the press conference. So if he's capable of doing that, he's capable of certainly doing it at Washington State.
And again, he's going to do the same thing at Iowa State when he has success. So if I was a Cyclone fan, I would just say enjoy them for as long as you want, because when the next opportunity comes up, I'm just going to bet all I have in my bank account that he hasn't been dreaming of coaching in Ames, Iowa for his entire life. Okay? He just
I know, but if I'm there and if I'm a Cyclones fan, I'm sitting there eating that up, and I want seconds, because if somebody said that about Washington State was their dream job, I'd be, oh my God.
It's a fraudulent industry led, and I don't think all of them are. I don't think all of them are, but got a good portion of them are. And I really do think what these guys are doing, and I always laugh when I hear people, commentators like us, rail against the transfer portal and rail against these kids for leaving. And I'm like, well, where do you think they're learning it from? They're just learning it from the people that are put in charge, who just they're doing whatever they want to do. So why would you be upset at that?
Well,
and why'd you be upset at the kids if you're not upset at these coaches just leaving and moving on everywhere? There is no loyalty in this sport anymore. There's zero of it. There's zero accountability. There is zero leadership, and you're just allowing all these coaches and players now to leave. I mean, what you're seeing here in the last 24, 48 hours, and it's just not Notre Dame, but it's all these programs. Oh, I'm not going to play in the bowl game anymore. I'm just going to quit. I'm not going to play anymore. I don't want to play. What? Think if you're a senior, you're not going to go play in the NFL. You really just don't want to play one more time with your friends and your teammates. Like, sure about that?
I don't know how they came to that decision. Maybe they didn't think about that part of it. They just thought about, we got screwed in the college football playoffs, so we're not going to go play a meaningless.
But they're not the only one.
There's
Iowa State's not playing in it.
I saw that too.
Baylor's not playing in it. I mean, there's programs all over that they're just saying, no, we're just not interested. We just don't want to play, because the players, Jim, they don't want to play in it because they want to go out in the free agency tour right now.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go out and visit all these other schools. So they don't want to commit to the team they're currently on, because there's no such word as commitment anymore. That's gone. Like, there may be a few people, it's rare, but it's over. But I'm with you. Fuck him. Everybody on that staff. I mean, really, I hope I tune in next season, and whoever Iowa State is playing, I'm going to root like mad for the other team.
I might root harder for them to lose than I root for the Huskies to lose. That's how much that's how I feel about it. And then I get a kick out of it too, is like Lane Kiffin, all the coaches that leave, Jimmy Rogers, the latest one. They blame the system so that it won't reflect poorly on them.
Yes.
As like a human being. And so they say, well, it's the calendar, the way it's set up. It wasn't my intent to leave Washington State. Well, what I like, and I know we're going to get into some possible coaching candidates, but what I like about Brent Vigen, if I'm pronouncing his name right there at Montana State, and I don't know if he was the leading candidate at Oregon State at one point or not. Now, they went on to hire Jamarcus Shepard. That looks like a great hire based on the press conference that he held there in Corvallis. But what I liked about Brent Vigen was, hey, man, I'm at Montana State right now. I'm not going to leave these kids in the middle of this FCS playoff. And if you want to get back to me down the road after this is over, fine, we can do that. But right now, I'm not leaving to take this job and leave these kids in the lurch. So I already like Brent Vigen. And if we hire him, I'll be fired up about that, because he's got some integrity.
I had heard, I'm not reporting this, I had just heard, whether it's true or not, I had heard that he was their top candidate last season because he interviewed for the Wazoo job.
Mm-hmm.
They flew him down to the Holiday Bowl where she was at to San Diego to interview him. And she didn't do that for anybody else, but she went down, she flew him down, and he said the same thing that he told Oregon State this year. I cannot commit to you. I cannot start right away until we're done. And for her and for Washington State, and it sounds like, and I hear that even at Oregon State, he was on the top of the list. that was a deal breaker for them. For Washington State. I don't know about Oregon State, but for Washington State, it was a deal breaker. They were just like, all right, well, we need it right away because we need to get going. And if you can't come for another 3 weeks, like that's just, we're going to be behind the 8 ball. We can't do it. But I will just speak for myself, and maybe he doesn't do it for everyone else, and maybe he's not the right guy. I don't know. But that aspect of Brent Vigen, I respect the hell out of him. Because that guy is saying, this is 2 years in a row where he could have climbed the ladder in college football and has said, I'm coaching my team in the playoffs right now. And he said it. He goes, I've made a commitment to them. They made a commitment to me. I'm not bailing on that one. So that stuff is important to me and what makes him a very attractive candidate. And if I were Washington State and they interview him, which I'm sure they will, and they determine he's the right fit, they need to just let him finish it out. Let him finish it out. They got a quarterfinal matchup this weekend. If they advance to the championship game, so be it. And you just say, I don't want to punt on this season, or the following season, but in the long run, they will be in a better spot if they were to go that route, I think.
No, Puck, I agree. Those are the kind of qualities you want to have in your head coach, is what Brent Vigen has there at Montana State. And so, yeah, I'd be all over that. That's the thing about Jimmy Rogers that I wish he had just said. When he was talking to Pollard, Jamie Pollard, the AD at Iowa State, when he was texting him, wishing him luck and all this, and when he going back to like, gee, coach, it's my dream job, all that stuff. And then when it finally happened, when Pollard said, hey, our coach is going to Penn State, the job's open, we want to hire you. Jimmy Rogers should have said, oh my God, I am so flattered, Jamie. Thank you so much. I really want that job, but the timing just isn't right. I can't leave Washington State after 1 year. I just can't do it. I can't do it to the kids. I can't do it to the community, the school, but I really appreciate it. Hopefully down the road, we can work something out. And that's what he should have said. That's what a person of integrity would say, but he's not a person of integrity. And so he's going to go there to Iowa State and bore the shit out of them.
And then everyone that now does Danny Freund go with him? Now, is that for many Cougar fans where they're now maybe glad that he's gone because it takes Danny Freund with him?
Well, okay, so then there's the Jesse Bobbitt thing where he's going to coach us in the bowl game, and yet there's reports out there that he's already going to be at Iowa State next year.
Yeah, I see. This is where I think, first of all, I think this interim AD, he's over his head right now. And
who the hell is he anyway? Like,
well, I
didn't even know his name until yesterday.
Well, he's been there for a bit. He's been the interim AD, and again, I think the president of this school made a colossal error. Colossal. You want to move on from Ann McCoy? Fine. But you better have the person ready to hire to take over as athletic director when you let her go. I'm not saying that it was a mistake to fire her. If you don't think she was a good fundraiser, fine. But when you make a move like that in season, you better know right away who you were going to hire. Like, I guess go through all the procedures of hiring and all that and get it all out of the way. But knowing that I got 2 candidates, if this one doesn't take it, this one takes it. The fact is they don't have any options right now for AD. In fact, I heard them say yesterday, I believe, or the day before, they want to hire by mid-April. April? So you're going to allow an interim AD who may or may not even be on the staff next year. Who knows? And a president who listen, she doesn't, her responsibilities are much bigger than hiring a football coach in terms of she doesn't have the bandwidth or the contacts to hire a football coach. And you're going to now, those 2 are in charge, and they've hired some outfit that apparently Kirk Schultz works for now. Perfect. That they're going to hire the next head coach. So she's screwed up. She should have had that in place, because now you're asking a new AD to come in and you've given them the head coach. When that AD may be like, well, I want to, like, part of being an athletic director is I got to hire my head coach.
Yeah.
And now you're not allowing that athletic director to hire the head coach, which I think is a mistake. So,
yeah, Puck, and I don't know about Ann McCoy, whether it was justified or not. I did talk to a staffer down at Rose Hours when I was in Pullman, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and how I have inside sources everywhere.
Is
that.
That where you guys decided?
I mean,
to
I've
meet?
got sources at the Denver airport, and you name it. I've got them everywhere, and so it shouldn't be a surprise to you that I was at Rose Hours talking to my source.
Did you plan on meeting at Rose Hours?
No,
or did
I
you
was just down there grabbing a coffee and writing a Substack column. You can read my Substack at jimmoore.thegotoguy.substack.com. I don't know the latest story today about Rick Neuheisel being the leading candidate to become our next head coach. I know how much you enjoy that. But he was talking about, that they're not happy in the department, that Ann McCoy, she was loyal. And so, okay, the thing is that the athletic director job duties have changed. I think we all realize that. And all it is I just, if I'm an athletic director, like, I'd like to talk to Jim Sturk about this. An athletic director's job has changed so much now, because if you can't raise money, then you're out, or you're not good, or you're not going to be hired. And that whole thing just sickens me, but that's the way of the world. Get up to speed, Jim. It's not old school anymore. We don't live, it's a different world. Well, I just can't believe that the number one quality for an athletic director has to be fundraising. Well, it just drives me nuts on a lot of levels.
It's got to be a big part of it, though.
I know, Puck. I know, but I just picture whoever we hire. I picture he's going to be some slick guy, like, hey, man, like, come to Washington State and we'll give you this and we'll give you that. I don't want that guy as my athletic director.
Oh, okay.
I want a guy that looks like he's trustworthy, honest, integrity, those kind of things. And if that puts us behind the 8 ball, to use your term there, if that puts us behind the 8 ball, I'd rather have that guy than like, hey, man, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. Hey. Fuck you. I don't like those kind of people. I hate those kind of people. I do. I just don't like them. And I don't want them part of my university. And yet I know that this guy is going to be, hey, good to see you.
No, but I think, listen, I think they can do both. I think that's just part of the respect. It's always, first of all, it's always been a part of it. It's just heightened more. It's just heightened more now. And I think, for as bad as, or as much as we dislike Pat Chun now, Pat Chun was a very good fundraiser. On that end of things, he was a very good fundraiser. And I also think he was a good athletic director. I mean, it was fine at Washington. I think
I'm not going to say anything good about him, man.
Well, okay, I got you. But I think he was a good athletic director. And then I think a guy like Bill Moose, for a lot of fans, I don't know why he's so polarizing.
Bill's phony, though. Bill's got a phony side to him.
I understand that, but listen, we don't have that stadium. We don't have Mike Leach. We don't have that football training facility, a practice facility without him. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And I know there's
Bill's ego Bill's ego was just.
You got to have someone. You got to have someone in place there, and it would be great if we could find someone with a connection to the university that has had previous experience. Whether they go there, maybe there's someplace else. I don't know who the list of candidates at athletic director are. When it comes to the football coach, I don't know. I'd love to sit there and tell you these are the 5 qualities I need. I don't want to give you those 5 qualities because they're just all gonna. At the end of the day, I just want somebody that's going to work and that's going to fit. If you could find me a former player that has been a coach that's had success that wants, fine. You want to dance with me on Luke Falk? Listen, they're not going to hire Luke Falk. Like, I'm not going to. I can entertain.
Wasn't he just playing yesterday? How old is he anyway?
He's
is he 32 in his 30s now?
32. I would say this. I think everything that, and I'm hoping to catch up with him tomorrow, trying to record something with him, but I want him to have his platform. Why do you want to be the coach? I've read his letter and I like what he said. And I agree with everything that he said in his letter and his pitch to be the head coach there. And I do think it takes someone like that. It's a unique place to coach and to play and to be there and to have a former player who's gone through it, to look at the players there, to tell them, I've been here. I know what it's like. I think would be powerful. They're not going to hire him. It's just, they can maybe, whoever the staff comes in, they can suggest, we would really like you to put him on staff and find a role for him, because we need to have someone like this here. And I would hope he would be willing to accept that. But for someone who does not have any head coaching experience, I mean, he's never been a coordinator. He was a coordinator at Northern Iowa, but had to leave to deal with his father. So I don't think they're going to go down that route. The idea of it, I certainly could get behind it more than your favorite hire, which would be Rick Neuheisel and his son, Jerry. Now, I understand, and I'll let you have the floor and I'll get out of the way. I understand the fascination with Rick Neuheisel. I get it. I totally understand. He would be great in front of the press. He'd be great with alums. He would shake hands and do all the things that you love about Rick Neuheisel. Play the guitar. You know, we've become in love with Rick Neuheisel, the post-coaching career, because of his role in the Pac-12 network and CBS and all the podcasts and shows he's on, because he speaks very eloquently about college football. He's always had a soft spot in his heart for Washington State. But the truth is this: he's not a good football coach. He's not. And he never really has.
You can't say that the truth is this. That's your opinion. That's not the truth.
It's true. It is my opinion. My opinion is he is not a good football coach.
Okay.
He only won at Washington with a group of players that weren't his. He goes to UCLA.
I think that's a tired narrative.
Okay. He goes to UCLA, doesn't win anything, didn't win a thing, and he's been out of coaching. When was his last time he coached UCLA? What was it?
Like riding a bike, man.
Okay. 2011, he was 21-29 at UCLA, 13-23 in the conference. And for his son, Jerry, God bless him, it was great. He sounds like him, acts like him in the locker room. It's great. It's an offense in the last 5 games of the season. I already texted you this, that scored 60 points. And so Jerry Neuheisel does nothing for me. And there is 0.0% chance they hire Rick Neuheisel. Not even 0.1. 0. So now you tell me why they should hire.
Okay, let me ask you a few things before I take the floor here. How do you feel about completely trashing and dismissing a teammate of yours, his idea of having Rick Neuheisel as the next coach at Washington State? Is there any part of you that feels kind of bad about that? That, God, maybe I should support Jim a little more than what I just did with the last 2 minutes, sponsored by Limbach Lumber, taking shots and basically dismissing whatever I'm writing at my Substack site. What is it again, Jim Moore, the go-to guy.substack.com.
Nailed it.
I mean, I'm just, all I'm asking for is $5 a month. I mean, if I had really good shit there, I'd be asking $50 a month, but I'm only asking $5 a month. And so here you are trying to get some supplementary income to my, Social Security, my PI pension. And yet before you give me the floor, you introduce me by saying, boy, this is a dumbass idea, but I'll let Jim talk about it for 2 minutes. Is there any part of you that feels like, maybe a little pang of, maybe I should have reworded that a little bit?
I said in the beginning, I know you like this idea, and I understand why you and others like it. It's just not
the
reality.
Number one reason. Can I tell you the number one reason why I like it?
Sure.
The number one reason, and it's not a good reason. So people would be out there going like, shit, Jim's lost it. He really has gotten old down there in Bend, because his reason sucks. But my reason is this: the whole fucking system is a fucking joke. Okay. So that being the case, and I think we can agree, no matter who you root for, the system's a joke. Even if you're rooting for Texas Tech this year, the reason that they're winning is because you're paying players hand over fist. You got that oil money. And so everything's a joke. And so if that's the case, it's a joke. NIL world, transfer portal, we all admit it's a fucking joke. Then why not hire? Everything should be on the table. Everything. John Gruden should be on the table. Rick Neuheisel should be on the table. When the Raiders fire Pete Carroll, win forever, baby. Let's go in the Palouse. Bring him to Pullman. Bring Pete Carroll to Pullman. and have him say all his shit that, he always says, Pete Carroll, proven winner at USC, all that. So that's why I'm saying Rick Neuheisel should be on the table. He's a guy that will come in there. The other part of it, and I'm getting to reasons 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 now. Number one is that the whole fucking thing is a joke. So we shouldn't just be so dismissive of Rick Neuheisel. He put us on the map nationally. He can talk. The thing is, we need money, right? We need money. We're always talking about, 1890 club, give us your pennies and nickels, everyone. Rick Neuheisel knows guys in Bellevue that were in the March Madness pools with him that make millions of dollars. And he could probably get them to go, hey, you know what, Rick's in Pullman, let's help him out. Don't you think? So weren't they all
Okay,
wait, shut the hell up. You've already said your bullshit.
Weren't they all Husky fans?
Yeah, but it's the thing is like, wherever you go, like let's say after this podcast fails, you go somewhere else. Hey, you go somewhere else. You're still my buddy, and I'm gonna root for you. And if you need something, I'm gonna help you out. So like these guys, Cleet Casper, whoever the guys that were in the pool with him, they're like going, God, this is pretty cool. Look at Slick Rick. What he's trying to do over there in Pullman.
Cleet Casper was in the pool with him.
I think so.
Don't think that was public knowledge, but okay, continue.
Oh, whatever. God, how about the statute of limitations? Isn't that gone? I mean, these guys were playing in a March Madness pool. How stupid is that now, looking back at that? Just like giving Billy Joe Hobart a car, like Billy Joe, wish he played now. Anyway, where was I? So this is a guy that could come in, raise money, and then we'd be in the spotlight nationally. Everybody would be like going, let's check in on Rick Neuheisel. It wouldn't just be the old Crimson flying at College game day. McAfee would be standing on his chair talking about Neuheisel and what he's doing in Pullman. And in the meantime, Jerry Neuheisel, who you just ripped, even though Jerry Neuheisel was instrumental in UCLA beating Penn State this year after Deshaun Foster was fired, okay, because he was the offensive coordinator.
So
Penn State turned out to be shitty in the end, but at the time they were number 7 in the country. So you get Jerry Neuheisel, you work him in, and we have precedents for this happening with Dick Bennett taking the Cougar basketball job back in 03 or 04 or whatever it was, taking the job for 3 years. His son, Tony, was being groomed at the time. That led to us being in the national tournament and Sweet 16. Oh God. Anyway, I just
this would happen.
We had success before doing this. Why don't we try it again with football since it worked in basketball? And going back to the number one reason, why the hell not? This whole thing is so fucked up. Let's just go with it, roll the dice, bring Rick Neuheisel to town and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, oh well, we gave it a shot though. What do you unless you get Vigen. If you bring Vigen in, great, or Vigen, whatever the hell. If you bring him in, great. But if you bring somebody else in, some young up-and-comer, he's going to be doing the same thing Rodgers did in a year or two, and we'll be going, oh God, here we go again.
But I guess, again, you want him, and I can't tell if you're serious or not that you really want him.
I am serious because the whole thing is a joke.
Okay.
So it should be open to anybody. If John Gruden, would you be against that? Again, I mean, it sounds silly, right? Well, the whole system is silly. So why don't we lean in? Let's lean into the silliness.
I really don't think Rick Neuheisel moves the needle as much as you think.
I think
that's
you're wrong.
my feeling.
I think you're wrong about that.
I don't think he is this, oh my God, we got Rick Neuheisel. Can't wait to get back home to watch Rick Neuheisel coach, who's been out of coaching football for 15 years. And
don't you think he can adapt, though?
And the last time that he coached, his teams weren't good. His son had one good game calling plays. One.
Have you seen this guy work a room? Have you seen Rick Neuheisel work a room?
I don't care if he can work a room or not. I want someone who can win football games. And I don't think he can win football games. I think he's 65. He only wants to do. He called them. That's how desperate he is to get his kid a job. He called the school. He's calling reporters.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, he's calling reporters to
if Owen needs a job 20 years from now, you'd make a call for him?
Well, of course, it's different. he's calling them to get the job, not because he necessarily wants it. He wants it so he can just give it to his kid.
He told Canzano that he misses it every day. He misses coaching every day.
They're Southern California guys. They're going to get up there and they're going to hate it. They're going to absolutely hate it.
Okay,
they love the idea of it now. But listen, it's not going to happen. There's just no way they're going to hire him. There's no way.
Okay. Let me respond to that. If it does happen, you owe me something, man. You owe me something.
What would you like?
I don't know, but make it good, man. Make it good.
Because
you're so certain that it's not going to happen. And if it happens,
I think it's a massive mistake if they hire.
Give me a trip to Tahiti. That's what I want.
That's a little aggressive. Okay.
How about New Zealand?
No, how about I'll just take your trip to where?
Okay, wait. I'll take this. A week in
Venezuela for golf?
A week in Ritzville.
I'll give you a week in Ritzville. You got it. I'll get.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, no problem. A week in Ritzville.
I
think it'd be a mistake to hire him. I think I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think his kid can coach, and I don't think they had to assemble a staff. I just think it would be.
Don't you think it'd be fun though?
But I don't care about fun.
You don't care about fun?
No. I want someone who can win. This is why I didn't mind Jimmy Rodgers. And people got so upset because he wasn't good in the press conferences and his offense was boring. Because I got this like several times.
I enjoyed the season too, Puck. I did.
I enjoyed it. I don't care that their offense was boring. They were competitive and they were really good and they should have been 8-4. So I don't care. I don't want whoever they bring in, fine. But if your prerequisite for a coach is I want an exciting offense back, I just tune you out. Because I don't care what the offense looks like. If it's air raid, it's air raid. If it's the wing tee, it's the wing tee. I just want someone that wants to win and can win.
How about Chip Kelly? Canzano mentioned him.
Again, I think it's a name that gets brought up, and I think it's, Chip Kelly. Here's why I don't like it. He hates recruiting with a passion. Hates it. You have to be able to recruit there. Sorry. Like that's got to be your number one job is recruiting. And then number two, he hates the glad handling stuff. He hates the donor stuff.
Okay, well, that's where that GM that everybody's hiring comes in. And you don't really need to recruit as hard as you used to. And I say that and like, geez, Jim, how can you say that? It just comes down to how much you're going to offer that kid. They're not going to give a shit that much about like, hey, do you have an indoor practice facility? And what's the locker room like? And gee, what do I'm interested in journalism. How's your comp department? They're not interested in that. They basically come in and say, how much are you going to give me? So if Kelly says, hey man, we got $1.5 million to offer you. And the kid thinks, oh God, Oregon's, they got this engineering department and they got this. I like their uniforms better, but they're only offering me $1 million, but Washington State's offering me $1.5 million. And I know it's in the middle of nowhere. That kid's taking the money. So you don't really have to sell your program as much as you used to.
I don't see. I just,
that's a cynical me talking though.
I think that's wrong. And I will push back and disagree on the recruiting isn't a thing anymore. It is a thing there. Okay. You have to recruit there. You're going to have to recruit high school.
But money is the number one reason that kids are coming to your school.
But they don't have money. That's my point. They can't play that game that these other schools play.
And then the only reason they're coming is because no one else is offering them money either.
Exactly. And they have to recruit the guys that are being under-recruited right now. They got to develop them out of high school and junior college and lower-rung schools that hit the NIL that aren't going to get the big money. And then you've got to be willing to live like the Nevada coach said this the other day, Jeff Choate, and he's 100% correct with what he said. 100%. He goes, I pitch guys that come to Nevada, you work your ass off, and in 2 years, you can go make money at Oregon.
Well, yeah, okay. 2 years, fine. I just, the one and done part of it though, trying to, you develop these kids and then all of a sudden, that's the thing, Puck, at our school, it's almost like we don't want our kids to be too good anymore because we know if they're too good, they're gone.
Well, unless people, And again, comes back
like
to
Ace Glass. Ace Glass, another example, although he was horrible yesterday. But Ace Glass on the basketball team, we know he's a goner.
Yeah, unless people change the way that they want to donate. You can't be a Coug fan and go, God, why do we lose all these players? Well, do you donate? No. Okay, well then donate. Like if you can change it. I mean, here's the thing.
Is my $233 a year for the 1890 club going to make a difference? And I know that people can say, Jim, Jesus, if we had 5,000 people doing that, it might make a difference.
Not you individually, no, obviously. $226. But if you're one of 70,000 people that donate, then yeah. Then that's like,
but that's unrealistic because we're not going to get 70,000 people to do that.
Well, but again, that's the mindset you got to change. I just think if you want to, if you're going to be an alum and a fan that's going to complain about it and get so upset about it, I'm just saying, don't donate. If you don't want to donate, don't donate. But can I complain since I only pay $233 a year? No, but you have. But my point would be, you have the ability to do something about it. And again, they don't need $30 million. Do they need $10 million? I mean, the AD at Iowa State just said it out loud when he was asked after the press conference what were some of the reasons why he left. He said that the Washington State only gave their football program $2.5 million. That's it. At Iowa State, he gets 13.
You hear Jed Fish said that they need 20 million.
And Jed Fish says they need 20 million. I don't think they need 20 million, but they need more than 2.5 million. They need 10 million. 10 million would work. That's all you got to get to is 10 million. And they could make it work there. And that you're still going to lose kids and all that. But I understand the idea of Rick. I do. But it's just, I don't
sound like it.
No, I understand why people would be excited about Rick Neuheisel, the name and all of it. I just don't think he's a good coach.
Well, right? Who do you have at the top of your list?
I don't know. I mean, I liked the Montana State guy last year. So I like him again this year. And if he wants to come, then let him come. And you're going to say, well, he's just going to turn around and leave. Probably. He's 50 years old. He's been there for 5-6 years. He's an for those who want offense back, he's an offensive-minded coach. That's the position we play tight end. He's always been on the offensive side of the ball. I would go watch interviews with him, read up on him. Again, he has turned down or has pulled his name out of 2 different jobs back-to-back years because he didn't want to leave his team behind. I don't know about for other people. That is important to me. His level of commitment to the current team he's on matters to me. Now, the other reason why he would be more attractive than Rick Neuheisel and Chip Kelly and Luke Falk is what Jimmy Rogers is about to do to our guys that he did to South Dakota State. That he's gonna bring 10 to 15 players from Montana State to Washington State. So you have to look at that. That has to be part of the transaction because we are going to lose a ton of kids. I don't know all the rules and regulations of the kids they just signed. I assume they can get out of that, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because Rogers is going to pick and choose, which ones he thinks will be good enough to compete at that level in the Big 12.
And then we mentioned the guys they're going to lose. I mean, Anthony Polano, Maxwell Woods, Kirby Voorhees, Carter Paps. Those guys are gone. All of them. All the kids that he recruited to go to South Dakota State that ended up following him to Washington State. That's right, because he did that. So all these guys he just recruited can go there. He's going to take them all. The ones that he wants, he's going to take them all. So you had to replace 75 guys last year. Who knows how many they're going to replace now. I feel awful for all those kids who've had to go through this now 2-3 years in a row. It's just it's a mess for them. Yeah, I just think that to me, he would be the first call. I would love to check in with Eck at New Mexico. I could have made a case for him last year. He embodies everything that you would want. Offense, wins the podium. He's a hell of a talker. I just don't think, number one, we missed that because he's at New Mexico. I don't know if he signed a new deal, but he's only been there for a year. And the success that he had at New Mexico, he's going to have a bigger job in another year or two.
Well, and isn't that a lateral move for him? I mean,
Yes.
it never used to feel that way, but New Mexico to Washington State right now is lateral.
100%. 100%. So he's not, and he's got a bigger job. He's got a power 4 job is in the horizon for Jason Eck.
Yeah.
So that's over. You're not going to get.
Well, and then they mentioned the UC Davis guy, which I don't know too much about. Canzano did anyway. Pluff or something like that.
Oh yeah. I would call him. I know that you and I were exchanging texts, I think with Sorensen. You both shot it down. I would pick up the phone and call Jonathan Smith. I would.
Yeah, I'm not that excited about Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
I probably should be more excited about it, but I'm not. I don't have a good reason for that.
Hey, your buddy Mitch Levy's checking in and says, bring the Northwest Championship to Pullman. Hey, Mitch. Mitch,
yeah.
Jim and I have a question for you.
Yeah. I listened to Mitch Unfiltered this morning. Go ahead, Puck. Give him hell.
Yeah. You sat down with Rick Neuheisel on the latest Mitch Unfiltered podcast. How many minutes did he spend with him, Jim?
It's like 15.
15.
Yeah.
Not one question about the Wazoo job. What the hell, man? Get in the game. Did you know?
In his defense, Mitch is sick. He's hoarse. So probably was limiting his words. But
yeah.
that was the reason I was listening, is I thought surely Mitch is going to ask Rick Neuheisel about
only reason
Pullman.
People would tune in to the episode is to hear Rick Neuheisel talk about Wazoo. And he doesn't even ask him the question. Jesus.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah, that's a fail. We'll bring that up on Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we'll have him on this week with you, maybe. I mean, there's other names. I don't know. Kirby Moore's name's been brought up. There's no connection to Wazoo other than
he's from Prosser.
He's from Prosser. He's the offensive coordinator at Missouri. Chris Jackson's the wide receivers coach, Fab Five. He's at Texas, along with the punter, the former punter who's now the special teams coach, who has the wife with the monkey.
Oh, God.
Jeff Banks.
Yeah.
And who else is on that?
Hey,
set?
Chris
Johnny
Jackson, Namath? Just for his performance in the 97 Apple Cup alone, give him an interview.
Yeah. I would just, to me, I getting back to Smith, I'd pick up the phone on Smith. I wouldn't worry about what happened at Michigan State. You know, he rebuilt that Oregon State program. He's very good. First 2 years were bad. Last 3 years, they went to bowl games every year. So I would at least pick up the phone. He'd be interested.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because I think maybe he learned his lesson going to Michigan State, and, coming back to the Northwest might be good for him. I just can't get past, though. Beaver fans, and, with him dropping his gear off at the Goodwill place there in Corvallis, that just,
I totally get it.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool at all.
So just to recap, number one, and by far the number one person for you is Neuheisel.
Well, yeah.
Betting favorite.
And again, number one reason being that the whole damn thing's a joke. It's turned into a circus. Let's get a ringleader out there in the center ring like Rick Neuheisel to lead us to whatever's next.
Okay.
Even though my teammate has said it has a 0.0% chance of happening.
Just an opinion. Just don't think it's going to happen.
You called it the truth.
Nor do I want to see it happen. I just don't.
God. Well, you don't like fun then. That guy bring fun back to the Blues.
I do like fun, but I think what trumps the press conferences of fun are just winning. I like winning. I just like to win. I laugh so I don't cry, because I'm so saddened by the state of college football. It's awful.
And it's just, it's that's the thing. It's taken the fun out of it.
100%.
And if they didn't have wagering on college football, I don't know if I'd be watching it anymore. And I'm going to continue to watch it because I love to gamble. And, I might even have a problem with it. I don't give a shit.
I think we all agreed that you do have a problem with it. It was interesting you brought up that it's when I was I record every Monday with Dugar, so we've already recorded. We'll play it here coming up in a little bit. And once we got over and we got finished, we were just talking about the Cougs, and he said, "What did we do to deserve all of this?"
Yep, I know.
Dugar was like, I don't understand what we've done to the college football gods to deserve everything that has happened to our school in the last 3+ years. What did we actually do to people? I mean, we're like the fun story of that little school that's tucked away in the middle of kind of nowhere, which what going away to college is supposed to be all about. Not going, you go to an actual campus. It's had a good history of football, certainly not great, but it's had its moments of exciting teams and personalities and all that. It's what makes college football fun and unique, and because it's not this big powerhouse brand, but in a weird way, it's got this kind of national cult following. I think a lot of college football fans know who they are. The logo, the symbol, it's recognizable and all of that.
And don't we do well? We do pretty well, relatively speaking, in TV ratings, don't we?
Do well in TV ratings. I mean, what's remarkable, and I know it's easier. This is like saying someone got selected to a Pro Bowl. So I understand this because it's so much easier to get to a bowl game now than it ever has been. The fact they've been to a bowl game, was it 9 times in the last 10 years? I mean, that's with all of the Rolovich and Leach and Dickert and Rogers and just this carousel of people, yet they still do it. And, they get the minimum 6 wins and they get in. We haven't won one since 18, but it'd be nice to win one time. But this is a school now that's back-to-back years that has to play in a bowl game without its head coach. And I got sidetracked because I wanted to mention this earlier. For me personally, there's no way I would let Jesse Bobbitt coach this team. Fuck off. You want to go take the Iowa State job? Go take it. Get out. Now,
Well, the only reason I'd be on board with it is if they make him the permanent coach. And you can make a case for him being the permanent coach with what he did with that defense this year.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Why'd you pause so long?
Because, he's the they've announced him already as the co-defensive coordinator. They've already announced him at Iowa State.
Okay.
So I don't think he's going to be now. I guess
can you edit that out when you
no, but I guess he could come back and be the head coach and say, okay, I'm in, at Washington State. But I mean, if he's going to take the job at Iowa State, why would I? I mean, I guess we did it last year. Pete Carroll was the interim coach, and then he went to Wake Forest. He followed Jake Dickert. But I would just say to Bobbitt, hey, you can go on and move.
Just to elaborate on what you and Michael-Shawn Dugar had to say. We love our school so much, and we don't like our school being treated like trash. And that's what it comes down to for me too, is it's like, you already kicked us to the curb. It's kind of like, college football, what they've done to us. It's like those MMA guys, they already knocked the guy out and they're still beating the shit out of the guy anyway, when he's already on the mat. That's the way we feel. And we deserve better. Because our fucking school is awesome, man. Our school is so damn awesome. Best 4 years of my life. I'm 68 years old, and yeah, I've had a good run with Kathy and had great dogs, great kids, had a great life. But my best 4 years ever were in Pullman, Washington, and I just I don't like it when our school is treated like that. It bugs the shit out of me.
I think anybody likes it. And I think I think it, and it's just the year after year, moment after moment, right? This constant rejection that we as a school and fan base is getting, right? And I never thought Mike Leach
we'd be a good fit for the Big 12. Why didn't the Big 12 pick us up? We'd be a good fit there. And the travel would be manageable too.
So it's all this like rejection, and now you can't land a coach, and whatever the future holds.
You're told you're not good enough, basically. Yeah. You're just not good enough.
And again, I go back. Again, I don't think this is going to happen. And I would probably voice the same thing that I would say about Rick Neuheisel. I think for Luke Falk, it would be a mistake to hire Luke Falk as the head coach. The idea of it, though, what he proposed is what I like. It's like like Peyton Pallure. It's guys that have played there that understand what it's like, that it just at this moment probably needs some continuity. It's unfortunate that we don't have a more prominent player that was a coach someplace that has been, that would be willing to come back. I looked long and hard this morning for programs that have connections, and most of them are just assistant coaches who have never had really any head coaching jobs. And there's the tree of Mike Price is over, and the tree of Mike Leach is a lot of assistants and not so many some head coaches, but not any long-term ties to Washington State. They want to move fast. I would move fast. I would move fast with Vigen. That's what I would do. That just would be my guy, Brent Vigen. I'd put all the chips on him right away. And then I would just say, hey, you coach Montana State as long as you want, all the way through the championship game. No problem.
You know what else I'd throw in there too, Puck? I'd say, look, man, we want you. We want you here. You coach through the end of Montana State's run. And once it's over, we'll be open arms, receptive to you coming to Pullman. And here's one more thing, Brent. We know that you probably want to bring some of your players here, but we don't want to do to Montana State what Jimmy Rogers, did to South Dakota State and what he's going to do to us there at Iowa State. Just leave your players there. They're in Bozeman, right? Just leave the players there and recruit new guys to come here. I think that'd be a nice gesture to do. And I think we could all get on board with that. I mean, there's probably some kids at Montana State that could play for us and play well, just like the South Dakota State kids did this year, but just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Don't take them. Bring your staff, but leave the kids there in Bozeman and don't mess with that.
Okay. Well, we got a bowl game.
Did we accomplish anything?
No, we got a bowl game in what? What do we got? 14 days for a bowl game?
I'm going. We're all going to go. We're going to have a family road trip from Bend. It's only 5 hours from here.
The Potato Bowl. I love it. What do they get? They get an actual potatoes? I don't even know what they get.
I think we should have a gold-plated bidet that we give the winning team because we're playing Utah State. And so I think that, in honor of our new president who had, an expensive bidet there at Utah State, we should just. He did. Yeah. Can't you see Jesse Bobbitt holding that trophy up, or Zevi?
Zevi looks so. Have we had any players opt out of the game yet?
Keyword yet.
Yeah, it will happen shortly.
I'm with you though, Puck. You talk about Notre Dame not playing in the bowl game. I would not opt out if I'm a kid because I'd be thinking, hey man, I had fun playing with these kids this year.
Yeah,
my teammates, and I want to play with them one last time. I don't care if it's some funky named bowl, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. What the hell? I think it'll be a fun game. It's a good matchup with Utah State, and I'm going to bet the hell out of it. I know that.
Ryan Turner says he's going to buy your beer, first beer.
Okay, Ryan, I'll look you up, man. I will. Yeah,
he lives in Boise. I would go. I wish it wasn't on a Monday.
Yeah, well, every day's a Saturday for me, so I'm good to go. No, we're fired up. I already talked to Mikey and Stevie about it. My wife.
Fun game. Well, I've always wanted to go. I've driven through Boise. I've never spent any time in Boise, and I've just heard great things about it. All right, before you go, we didn't have a lot on Harry Ford here, real quick. I'll just say this. The guy Jose Ferrer, who they got back, who just, again, they need a left-hander in the bullpen, good strikeout rate, throws high velocity, 98 miles an hour and all that. Didn't you think they would get more for Harry Ford than some left-hand bullpen guy? Wasn't Harry Ford built up to us as some next wave of a great prospect coming through the system? And doesn't one of those next great prospects through the system get you more than a left-hander out of your bullpen?
Yeah, but then I saw that Adam Jude, or maybe it was Luke Arkin, somebody was saying that I think we placed too high a value on him, just that perception that we had as fans, and that the Nationals didn't want just Harry Ford in return for their reliever. We had to throw another player in too. And so I just, when you look at the Mariners and what they've done with relievers that they brought in that were so-so guys and turned them into semi-stars, You like to think that they could do the same thing with this guy, and all the particulars with him, except for what he does against right-handed hitters, not so good. But and maybe they can get his turn, all of his arsenal and add a sweeper to him too. So who knows? I'm fine with it. And Harry Ford was a dead end here. He had nowhere to play with Cal.
Yeah, and I agree with everything said. That wasn't me thinking he was going to be better than what he was supposed to be. I'm just saying that's what we were sold on. This bill of good. You just thought that. I think that trade just let you know what the rest of the league thought of Harry Ford.
Correct.
They didn't think much of him. He's not really that good of a baseball player. You don't see a lot of catchers from high school actually make it. That he should have been switching positions and should have done it a long time ago. Maybe he eventually will. Did you see the name that's already being connected to the Mariners as a backup catcher?
Go ahead.
It's your favorite guy. They're going to bring him back. Mitch Garver.
Are they? I'd be on board with that. You know why?
Why?
The only reason I'd be on
Low
board
cost?
with that, I think if they bring him back for like $2 or $3 million, and I think a lot of what happened here got in his head. I don't think we saw the Mitch Garver that was at his best, obviously. Yeah. And I think that maybe if he's only making a couple million, you bring him in as a backup catcher, that he's going to show what he showed in Texas more than he did in Seattle. God, that seems like a really stupid thing for me to say, but that would be my hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I was some huge Mitch Garver fan. I don't think anybody was. I don't even think Mitch Garver was a Mitch Garver fan, because he didn't like how he played.
Yeah, well, that's
redemption.
Right,
everybody can. Adam Jude and Divish. Everybody can write a story about Mitch Garver's back, and I'm sure Mitch should have some great quotes about how it's going to be different this time around.
Hey, yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna have more on that. Divish is going to join me on Wednesdays for another edition of Inside Pitch from the winter meetings. Before you go, hold on, one more thing before you go. This is going to be. I knew we would spend a lot of time on the Cougs today, and rightfully so, as we should have. How about our guy Pete Carroll? That motherfucker.
What happened?
How much money do you think Pete Carroll had on that game?
I saw that.
How much money do you think he and this little snot-nosed kid Brandon Carroll had on that game? There's no other reason to do what he did.
Okay,
other than gambling.
For listeners who aren't aware of what happened, the Raiders trailed Denver 24-14, 5 seconds to go. The spread on the game was Raiders plus 8.5.
Yes.
They kick a field goal, lose by 7. Did time run out on that field goal, or did they have a chance to onside kick it? Because I just saw a clip on that.
No,
but clearly the NFL
the field goal. First of all, they should have ran out of time, and it begs the question whether the ref was in on it. They should have actually been out of time. They throw past the Lockett. They throw a penalty because the guy, for a defender, runs up and knocks the ball out of Lockett's hand. They threw a delay game on the defense, which gave them enough time to set up for the winning field goal.
And then time ran out on that play?
The time ran out on the field goal, so there was no chance to have an onside kick because it ran out. And he knows that. It was 4 seconds. He knows that he's only doing this for gambling purposes.
Okay,
that is it.
In his defense, I think that's a good thing, that he knows that Raider fans are probably betting on the Raiders. And so if you're going to lose, at least cover the spread. And yet, if I'm the NFL, I'm launching an investigation to find out about that. If I'm a reporter, which I am, I like to think that someone must have asked him something about that at the end of the game.
And did that happen? I don't know, because I was going to do that. I was going to go to the Raiders website this morning, but I just knew I was going to get caught up in all the Cougar stuff, and I wanted to watch his presser, because I would have hoped that someone in that media asked him, why'd you kick it there? Why?
Oh, well, yeah. We were just trying to, get some more work for our kicker.
By the way, I know I'm going to get fired, and so I said, fuck it. I said, Brandon, yeah, Brandon. I know we don't look alike, and I don't really know if we got the same mother, because you don't look like me, and I don't look like you. But you got that beard that makes you look tough, but I don't think you're really tough. Hey, listen, let's put all our money. Let's put all our money down. Okay, let's do it right now.
His
And
next book,
we're going to take the Raiders. We're going to take the Raiders. Yeah, we'll take the points. We're going to take the points.
his next book, Cover Forever.
Cover forever. What if he turns into some like Brent Musburger degenerate when he gets fired here by Mark Davis? What if he turns into some like Brent Musburger working for Vissen degenerate gamble? Welcome to the Cover Forever. It's the Pete Carroll betting show here on Vissen. 1-800-929-BETS with Pete. Hey, you're on the line. Who do you like? I like the Huskies and that +3.5. What if he just turns in like sunglasses, his big belly, and he just becomes some degenerate gambling addict in Vegas? That'd be great.
I miss on the KJR show when you used to spin the wheel.
The wheel?
What were we spinning for there?
Quarterback. Who's going to be a quarterback? I don't know about Gino. We like Gino, but maybe about Drew. Drew's our guy. But there's Gino. He's going to be spinning the wheel for fucking parlays.
Don't we love Pete Carroll though?
Oh,
I mean, he's full of shit like the rest of them though. He had to get out of USC so bad because of that Reggie Bush thing.
Of course, yeah. All right. We covered I don't know what we accomplished, but we accomplished something today.
All right, man.
We didn't even talk about
remember, you promised me if Neuheisel's hired, I get an all expenses paid trip for a week in Ritzville. That includes whatever I want at the Sonic Drive-In. I think, is it Sonic? What is it there? Or no, it's Zips. It's Zips. Okay,
and then
I'll stay at that little funky hotel right next to Zips.
In the golf,
and then you got to pay for my green fees at the 9-hole course.
It's all, yeah, you got it all.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Only you would want an all-expense paid trip for a week to Ritzville.
I love Ritzville, man.
I know you do. No one loves Ritzville more than you. No,
great spot. All right, go Cougs, buddy.
Go Cougs. We'll see you on Wednesday. There he is, Jim Moore, the go-to guy with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Again, brought to you by three great sponsors. Brotherton Cadillac, a clean streak / Bright Owl Lighting. Get your Christmas lights up, brightowllighting.com, and the Angry Beaver. All right, well, let's talk Seahawks right now. We catch up with Michael-Shawn Dugar every Monday. It's the Dugar Report. Seahawks big winners over Atlanta. What did we learn from that game yesterday? Also looking ahead to the final month of the season. Michael-Shawn Dugar brought to you by Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Here he is, Michael-Shawn Dugar. That's the Dugar Report. He's in Atlanta, Georgia. The Seahawks off their victory yesterday over the Falcons. And Dugar is here to answer all the hard-hitting questions. What the hell happened in the second half? How can a game be 6-6 and then it's an absolute runaway there in the second half? We'll talk about the offense, the defense. There's so many players on the defense to get to, special teams. I enjoyed the camera going to the special teams coach for Atlanta every single time they had a screw up, and he just looked so confused and had no idea what was going on. We'll cover it all. The Dugar Report brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Offer, Rogers Pilsner, and their new Tavern Beer Tasting Room, Beer Garden, open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit georgetownbeer.com. Well, 10-3 matches, the wins they had last season. What was said at halftime? Because they came out in the second half and were a completely different team, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that was said was go score. Mike McDonald told Rashid Shaheed, why don't you go take this kickoff back, and then we'll get this thing rolling. And, lo and behold, he did. Shout out to Mike McDonald. And I don't think that was just like something he says every week and just happened to be right. You know what I mean? The Falcons they came into that game leading the NFL in kickoff return yardage allowed, like per kick. It was near 30. Now it's over 30 yards, which is bad. Like that usually gets the special teams coordinator that they kept showing fired. So that it wasn't like happenstance. I don't believe. And I think that kind of set everything off. It was a reminder that we're much better than these guys. Mm-hmm. And that's how these games keep getting lopsided, is the Seahawks just at some point decide, whether in the first quarter, first half, like they did against the Saints and the Commanders and the Cardinals, it's like, hey, this doesn't have to be a close game. We don't got to eke this one out because we're better, and they go and show it.
So anti-Pete Carroll, I think. And I'm not to like throw strays at Pete Carroll, but remember, like, it didn't feel like, unless I go back now and look, and you're probably going to say, no, there were more blowouts than you remember. And maybe that's the case. But it was always that you can't win the game in the first quarter, the second quarter, you win in the fourth quarter. It always kind of felt that those games were always tight or always in question in the fourth quarter. And we would always joke about, hey, it's okay to score early and take big leads, but you start looking what these guys have done this year. I think they still lead the league in point differential. So
They
it's
do,
32.
by 2.
Yeah. So 37-9 yesterday. They blanked Minnesota last week. I mean, you go back to that Arizona game, 44-22, Washington 38-14, New Orleans 44-13, Pittsburgh 31-17. That's not as much of a blowout at the time, you know, we look back on it. But Mike, you just don't see these type of scores in the NFL. This doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know, I think the difference between the Pete team is that it wasn't so much he didn't believe that you could blow a team out. They blew plenty of teams out, but I think as the defense deteriorated and was injured, he wanted to play a different style of ball that Russell felt he was too good to play in. You know, Russell was like, let's go out here and drop 30 on him in the first quarter. And he was like, well, if I have you drop back early, that's not your game, you know? And so there was a style conflict there. Whereas you see when he had Geno, he was like, let's come out and throw, you know, to their detriment. But that you see the philosophy change. It was more tied to the faith in the quarterback and a lack of faith in a defense. But I think Mike's teams, it was Derek Hall who mentioned to me that one of their new sayings, they have like we talked about, they have way too many of them. But one of them,
like, how many do they have? Because I've lost count.
They've got way too many, Puck. It's my job to keep count, and I have lost count. Like that, it's on me to keep a track of like how many sayings and what every acronym stands for. ACT, EAT, the mob now.
With Pete, it was just LOB, right? Or what, was there anything else? I think that was just it.
Pete had some rules.
Forever.
Yeah, he had rules to the program and some sayings, and, you know, always compete and practice is everything. You know, buy my book; they're all in there. But you know, so coaches have sayings. It's not it feels like Mike just has a ton. Like he's like it's like going to military school. It's just, you just learn an entire new language, Mike McDonaldisms. But one of them, Derek Hall was telling me the other day, or after last game, he was like, one of them is it doesn't have to be close. You know, and I do think that just having something that you can go back to, a statement like that, I think is where it's a little different than the Pete teams that that got him fired. At least it was just like, we can go dominate, and not because we're arrogant. And they'll all say, well, why does it have to be close? I was like, well, because we put the work in. We studied, we grinded, we made each other better in practice, and we're all playing for each other, so we can go out there and beat the snot out of whoever. And you see that in some of these plays, man. And what you see is, think about this, Buck. Think of how many times the last few weeks somebody's done something, particularly on defense, and it's been the first time this season they've done the thing. You know, this guy's first sack, this guy's first pick, this guy's first whatever. And it's like, well, how is all these guys who've been playing all year just now? You know, Derek Hall didn't get his first sack till week 12. Spoon didn't get his first sack till week 14. Somebody last year got his first pick, excuse me. Reek didn't get his first pick till week 13. How? These guys been playing all year because it's a selfless defense. Like, my time is coming. You know, my time is coming. And I think that takes a level of humility to play in that defense, but then it's paired with collective arrogance. They can go out and kick everyone's ass.
And it's just each week there's something new with it. I mean, there's, you know, last week is the shutout. And again, I know they're not doing this against, you know, the top of the teams in the league, but whatever, you got to play who you got to play. But it's just every week there's something else with this defense, and we keep doing the compare game. And I'm not going to go back to the compare game and go back to 13 and those teams under Pete. It's this version of this defense is just, I mean, there's just so many good players on this defense. I mean, we talked, I think last week at great length about Leonard Williams, and we talked about Murphy. In the past we've talked about Ernest Jones. You know, someone that we haven't talked a lot about this year. He hasn't had a bad year. He had a really good game yesterday. Was Devin Witherspoon, maybe the most, I don't know, naturally gifted defensive player that they have on their football team. And then yesterday is the Nicky Manwari game. I mean, the guy every time I look up, I'm kind of dozing. I'll be honest with you. I was dozing in and out of that game yesterday. But every time I look up, the kid's making another play, Mike. He was all over the field. But the first Seahawk to get an interception, sack, and block a field goal in one game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Unless Cam would have done that at some point. Or Bobby. I think Bobby blocked a kick once as well. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. Nick is really, really, really versatile. I love his game. I love Spoon's game too. You know what? Spoon is not even that complicated. What superlative to use for him? He's their smartest player. He's their smartest player. Like you go talk to him about I love talking to him about the plays he makes or that he was involved in, because 98% of the time it's, well, based on this, I knew that they would do this, so I did this. You know, it's very similar to talking to Sherm. They have different personalities, but their minds are very the same. You know, I'll give you an example on Nicky Manwari's pick. He was like, well, I knew that if they put a 3-by-1 and then Kyle Pitts is the number 3, meaning the receiver closest to the quarterback, they're probably going to run a stick route because it's third and short. So I dropped back. I saw him turn around. I just beat on it, you know, and then he tips the ball, you know, and then you go to his interception. He's like, well, I bluffed a bluffed a blitz. We saw Kirk change the play. We knew he was then checking to a screen because they had been running screens all game. And then boom, you know, I blow it up. I mean, it's just like it's not by chance that Spoon's making those plays. He's like I said, he's easily their smartest defensive player. And it shows up mostly when he makes tackles, but yesterday it was just like, now I'm around the ball.
And I think the attraction, at least for the team, for me, and this is if I go back to those teams under Pete, that defense, here I am talking about not comparing them. I'm comparing them in a way, but I'm not comparing them in this sense. That defense, it had these larger than life personalities on that defense. And this team does too, to a degree, but not like that. You know, there's just this, God, it's kind of more old school. And if you're like me and you're 50 and you're old, you're like, this is how I like, you score a touchdown and you hand the ball to the referee. That's how I feel about these guys. They just are very kind of old school, very workmanlike. You know, they kind of just do their job and it's like, we're on to the next play. You know, there's just not a lot of extracurricular stuff going on. They're just so dialed in defensively. And it just keeps getting better each week.
Yeah, I think the main difference is that this team doesn't have a Sherm. Because if you remove Sherm, there's a lot of personality traits that are just pretty standard among NFL players, but maybe the exception of Michael Bennett, I guess. But there are definitely quotable, outspoken, funny players on most defenses. Leonard Williams is one, for instance. He's got a nickname, Big Cat. He's got a signature dance when he does a sack, just like Mike B. He's pretty vulnerable and straightforward, talking about his history and his past, and he'll opine on the league like Mike B used to. And then there's guys who are like Cam. You know, honestly, Ernest Jones this week just after winning NFC Defensive Player of the Week, he was like, on Sundays, I'm not Ernest. You know, I flip a switch. And Cam said the same exact thing. He was like, I go to a dark place, I put that visor on, and then I'm somebody else. You know, Kobe is very similar to Earl, doesn't say much at all, but he's just a missile with cleats on, you know, on Sundays. So it's really just they don't have a Sherm who's just like opining on everything, telling everybody on the other team that they're trash, which is okay. But I think it's fine to make the comparisons, because I was thinking about the other day. I was reading some previews to the Baltimore versus Pittsburgh game. That, you know, it was a pretty big game for both coaches. And one of the things that the columnist who wrote that was talking about is how both teams are known for defense, and that has fallen off. And they had some numbers to back that up. And I was like, you know what's the Seahawks, Pete gave them, they're one of those teams known for defense. Like, you go talk to these kids that grew up watching the Seahawks, and they associate the Seahawks with defense the way some people maybe closer to my age or your age would be like, I associate the Bears with defense, or the Steelers or the Ravens. Yeah. So I think it's very fitting that when the Seahawks do have an elite defense, you're like, man, this is like that feeling we used to have. They were just one of those teams. We just don't typically associate that with them because we're older. But I signed a book for a 22-year-old last night at the game. You know what? He grew up with Russell Wilson. That's who I grew up with, you know, and Pete Carroll. So I think it's I don't see any problem at all seeing elite defense and recalling, you know, Pete's teams.
And I think it's a standard that is being set within this organization. I mean, I would even go back even further for people that are in my I guess, age bracket. I mean, you go back into the mid 80s. I mean, this team, there's always been this misconception, I think, about this organization. They've always been bad. I mean, there was a period in the 90s where they were god awful. But I'll get to the 90s. Even in that 90s team, you could put that defense up against any defense that's ever been in the history of the organization. The 92 team was unbelievable. It was just, they're incredible players. They had a world league quarterback. It was awful. Their offense was terrible, but not their defense. I mean, they had the defensive player of the year on a team that won
2 games.
God, they win 2 games, 3 games. Yeah. And even in those 80s, those teams in the 80s, they were, I mean, incredible. Secondary led by, Eugene Robinson and, they had Dave Brown back there, Paul Moyer, who's on the Seahawks broadcast. I mean, they're just a lot. Jeff Bryan and Jacob Green and Joe Nash up front. I mean, those teams, I think, if you're not old enough to remember those, you forget about how good those defenses were back in the day. And so just even going back since the kind of the inception of the franchise, this defense has always been kind of a hallmark, I think, for this organization. This is just another kind of different version of a defense that's always been playing really good here. And this one is just fun to watch because it's just guys are all over the place making plays. It's fun to kind of watch Mike Macdonald get even better and with each week and from last season and to put even more of his fingerprints all over what they look like. I mean, to me, it's I don't know much about calls, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on the formations and what they're doing, but when I watch it as a casual fan and I'm trying, if I were a quarterback or somebody on the other team trying to decipher what they're trying to do, I would have no idea. I mean, just the different looks and things that he gives them, it's just very confusing every time that ball is snapped.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest difference between this defense and like a Pete defense. The Pete defense is similar to what we're seeing from Houston. Houston runs about 2 coverages. They run cover 4 and man, and you just can't move the ball on them. They're probably the best defense in the league, I would say, even though Seahawks hung 27 on them, forced 4 turnovers in that game. Texans did too. But the Seahawks are just like, we're running everything. You don't know what's coming. So it's more of a confusing defense, whereas Houston's closer to those Pete teams who just line up and beat you. But you can do it, multiple ways to skin a cat. But the other thing what really stands out about Mike Macdonald is, keep this in mind when they play. Well, they don't play any more bad teams, really, quote unquote. Maybe this Colts team without Daniel Jones. But what they do is every team has something they're good at. The Seahawks just take it away. That's what they do. And so there's varying levels of that. But just, I mean, you look, Devontae Adams couldn't catch a ball against these guys. Justin Jefferson had 4 yards against these guys. Bijan Robinson was shut down the second half of this game. They still haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. They'll probably shut down Jonathan Taylor next week. You got it. That's what I look at more so than just like, well, they beat up on a bad team. It's like, okay, well, this bad team probably does something good. It's the NFL. The Falcons, they're a great red zone team since Kirk took over. Couldn't get in the end zone yesterday, even against some of the Seahawks backups, right? That's what Mike Macdonald defense, probably the other characteristic of it that stands out to me. They take whatever your thing is and they eliminate it. It was even the Rams, when they lost, Kyron Williams, he didn't crack 100 yards. He had 70-something in the first quarter, finished with like 90. That's why I have so much faith in them, honestly, because I know if they go into a game against whoever, they got this offensive player, this O-line, this run game, whatever, I just have confidence Mike Macdonald's going to say, beat us with your left hand. And then maybe the team does that. An elite team should be able to. We just watched the Eagles do that in the Super Bowl. They were like, we'll force Jalen to throw. It was like, well, here, bombs away. So the elite teams can do that, but the Macdonald makes you have to do that. And that's special. That's stuff that carries all the way through January to me.
Let's go to the offense. Sam Darnold needed this type of game, and it didn't start off. It started off like some of these other games have been starting off for Sam Darnold. He, again, another costly interception, making a play when, probably wasn't there, could have probably ran, done something other than try to force in a ball to his rookie tight end that gets picked off. Offensive line doesn't look confident. They're giving up pressure. He looks jittery in the pocket. Again, we go back to the second half. They start off with the Shaheed, return for a touchdown, and then things just click. I think they score on 5 straight possessions. something like that afterwards, and he looks great. I mean, it's night and day, the numbers from the first half to the second half, and I think it's allowed probably everyone watching them, and then probably Sam Darnold, to kind of take a deep breath, because it had been a shaky few games for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Puck, can I give you some stats here? Because this is fascinating. I was looking this up last night for a story that I'll have probably Tuesday morning. So Sam in EPA per drop back is 8th. He's either 8th or 9th, depending on how I change the qualifiers to include Mac Jones or not. But let's go with him at he's 8th, right? So but let's do this. If I filter out, I go to True Media and I say, take out all plays that are a turnover. Where would you guess that Sam Darnold shoots up to in EPA per drop back, which is basically an efficiency stat for my non-nerds? Think of it like QBR, but better. Where would you think he shoots up to without turnovers?
I would say number 1.
Yes, correct. He is the number. Basically, the way to read that stat is, if Sam doesn't turn it over, he's the best quarterback in the league.
Perfect. Let's take all the turnovers out.
Like, legitimately, well, that speaks to how efficient he is when he does protect it, which I think is the key. That's the only thing. I've given up on the run game ever being like lethal. It just needs to be whatever. It just needs to be competent. If they have a competent run game, an elite defense, they're like 3rd in special teams EPA. They've got all the pieces. I really think, Puck, if Sam just doesn't turn it over, if you tell me Sam doesn't turn it over in January, the month of January, I would tell you, book your tickets to Santa Clara. That's it. That's the only thing that I think will hold this version of this team back is Sam. Is Sam turning it over in particular? Because when he's not, he's more efficient than Drake May, Jordan Love, Josh Allen. It's just the ball security. Now, I mean, that's a huge but it speaks to, because everybody doesn't shoot up that high when I remove turnovers. Like Geno doesn't jump up. Tua doesn't jump up. Some of these other guys who are near him in turnovers, because Sam leads the league in turnovers, by the way. But you take those plays out, he's as good as they come. It's just the ball security. That's it. So if you're wondering, anybody listening, you wondering whether you should book a ticket to Santa Clara, ask yourself, do I trust Sam to protect the ball? If the answer is yes, book the ticket now. If the answer is no, plan the Super Bowl party at your house.
You know what's going to be really interesting as you fast forward, to them in the playoffs is with those stats, and I'm sure they're well aware of those stats as well. Do they alter their game plan once they get into the playoffs? Do they do anything different?
I would.
Or not? Or do they just say, screw it, we got to play the same way we've been playing all season long? We can't do that.
As much as I'm a process over results guy like Mike McDonald is, and I made fun of Pete just like the rest of us for kind of playing not to lose, playing a little scared sometimes. The way these guys are playing, I might owe Pete an apology. They need to play Pete ball in the back half of the season for the reasons we're talking about. That protect the ball, because the running backs haven't fumbled. I don't think Ken's ever lost a fumble in the NFL, and I don't think Zach has either. So that if you hand it off to someone that's not Jalen Milroe, and you don't have Cooper Kupp throw it, you're probably not gonna turn it over. So I think that's what you got to play. That doesn't mean don't. Sam leads the league, I think, in yards per attempt. He's like 9 yards, so you can still have him air it out. That's fine. But I think this is play the Russell Wilson game, play action, run the ball, deep shots. I think that's the game you got to play. That's what they played in the second half, for what it's worth. Yeah. They hit 2 JSN crossers, one for a touchdown. Game was over yesterday.
The best part about that one crosser, the guy just giving up. Just I'm not even gonna try and tackle him. That's
the guy. 24, by the way, AJ Terrell, All-Pro guy, hadn't given up a touchdown all year. Playing great ball all year. Plays Jackson Smith and Jigba, barbecued all night, 2 touchdowns. Like you said, just giving up on a crosser. But yeah, I think they're not going to do that, Puck. I don't think. But I would. As much as I've made fun of Pete there towards the end, I think Pete ball is the recipe for the 2025 Seahawks, because the only thing that beats you is Sam turning it over. He threw 4 interceptions in their loss to the Rams, and they lost to the Bucks and Niners. What was the last play on the offense on each of those first 2 losses? A Sam turnover, a fumble and a pick. Just don't turn it over. Yeah. 0 turnovers, and you go to the Super Bowl. I can almost guarantee that.
Finally, we got the Rashid Shaheed game. I think it was last week or even 2 weeks ago. You and I talked a lot about this. I think coming in, it was 4 catches, 37 yards. I mean, he gets more yards in one game than he had in the previous 4, sparked him in the second half with that kickoff return that we've talked about now multiple times. They need this. This is exactly what they need is in this stretch run now, these games, which will determine whether or not they can win the West. They need that second option to JSN. And if we can get what we got, like that's a perfect 3 catches. I think it was 3 catches, 4 catches, 67 yards. That's perfect because they need that type of counterpunch in this passing game.
I wish, I mean, I don't think the Seahawks take my advice, but if they did, I would tell them, guys, that's it. You give Rasheed, it was 4 for 67. You're right. He does that every week. Make sure a couple of those are on third down, like they were. 2 of them moved this chains, including a 33-yarder on 3rd and 6. That's all you need from Shaheed. At least right now, while he's still on his rookie deal, you haven't paid him yet. That's it, though. You don't need because no one can guard Jax. I've seen him just barbecue a bunch of all-pro corners all year. I'm convinced. I don't need to see anything more. One guy cannot guard him. When they did the little spotlight thing of AJ Terrell's reps against him, you would think AJ was like a rookie corner. That's an all-pro guy. He was just getting fried. Chris Kidd and I have already taken credit for the Shaheed game. I talked about it with you. Chris did a film breakdown of it. I wrote about it on The Athletic on like Thursday. So, and then what do you know? He comes out and has the best game. Right. I'm just going to we're taking credit already. Because
did Chris at all in his breakdown of Shaheed say that maybe he's a better route runner than Steve Largent in that film breakdown? Did he mention that at all?
I don't think so, but I think he would say that about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I'm going to go back and watch and listen to see if he had any more thoughts on that one. Well, it was a great game. Now it gets going for them because this is now the stretch that we've talked about a little bit last week, and now it gets going for them. And they need the Rams to falter. They still control their own destiny because they can beat the Rams. If they just win out, they're going to win the West and will be the number 1 seed. So they got the Colts this weekend. You mentioned it before. Next up for them, Daniel Jones is out. Feel bad for Daniel Jones. I mean, just a guy that's having a breakout year after all the issues in New York. He goes to Indianapolis, gets a second shot at it, and tears his Achilles. Now he's out for 10 months. So they get the Colts, then it's the Rams, and then they finish on the road at Panthers and at the 49ers. It's going to be a fun rest of this month of the season to see if they can pull it on out. All right, the Dugar report, it's wrapping up. Michael-Shawn Dugar, The Athletic. Go read all of his work at theathletic.com. If you don't have a subscription, go get it. Also, check out, it's out now. They record it right after the game, late into the night, early into the morning. The Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast with our guy Chris Kidd, Michael-Shawn Dugar. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, there as well. They'll do another one on, what's the other one? It comes out on Friday, right? The film breakdown?
Yep. Exclusively on our YouTube channel as well. Okay. Yep, Seahawks Man-to-Man is the name of the channel. That's right. Where we nerd out. If you want to nerd out with us, come on over.
And the book, we got Christmas is right around the corner. Where can we find the book, the franchise story of the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, wherever books are sold, but also if you want a signed copy, my DMs are open on Instagram. They're also open on TikTok, on X, Twitter, whatever Elon's doing. Hit me up. Even if you're not in Seattle, I will make sure I get a signed copy to you. My wife and I, God bless her, we basically got a factory going at the house. The books come, we sign them, mail them out. We're all over the world. We got some going out to Sweden and the UK this week. So wherever you are, hit me up. I'll make sure you get a signed copy for you, a loved one, whoever. Just let me know.
It's a great read. Pick it up today. Thanks, Mike, and we'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it as always.
I'll be the coach if the Cougs need it, Puck. Appreciate you.
You're qualified. Go Cougs. Big thanks to Michael-Shawn Dugar. And again, the Dugar report runs usually live, or we play it on Mondays, and we usually do it live. We taped with Dugar this morning because he was getting on a plane later, leaving from Atlanta. Normally would be live around 10:35. I knew Jim and I would go a little bit long today with the whole Jimmy Rogers thing. Michael-Shawn Dugar's appearance, again, brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, will be a part of the whole Daily Puck Drop that will be up on YouTube later. We'll also isolate just him and put just the interview portion of Dugar up on YouTube as well. And, of course, if you got into any of it late, you want to listen to it later, up on all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. All right, lengthy show today, but there was a lot to cover before we get on out of here with Hey, What the Puck. Let's give you on this day, December 8th, some very historical, significant moments on this day, December 8th. We first start 1776. George Washington, our first president. Him and his army crossed the Delaware River from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, December 8th, 1776, right? That's kind of what led to the end to the war there. George Washington. Here's the thing. I've always wondered about this. I'm a big history guy. I love historical movies as well. They've never made a good George Washington movie. Anybody? Like, why? I'd watch it, like a good or a series or something on George Washington. Also on this day, December 8th, 1941, the U.S. and Britain declared war on Japan. They enter World War II. Of course, President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivers his famous Day of Infamy speech to a joint session of Congress a day after the attack and bombing of Pearl Harbor, which was, of course, yesterday. Happy birthday to a couple here on December. Two people. Yeah. On December 8th, happy birthday goes to Jeff George, former NFL quarterback. I contend Jeff George. Go watch video of Jeff George. He is the best thrower, passer of the football, is Jeff George. All right. He turns 58 today. Spent one season briefly, 2002, with the Seattle Seahawks. Also, happy birthday going out to Sammy Davis Jr., one of the Rat Pack members. He would have been 99 years of age today. Passed away a number of years ago. No longer with us. Speaking of that, another from a historical perspective, John Glenn, first American astronaut who orbited the Earth, passed away on this day, on this day, December 8th. He was 95 years of age. All right. Hey, what the puck? We wrap up the show, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. You want them to take care of all of your emergency needs, avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage, any type of damage to your residential or commercial property. Reach out to them, restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. We could do this almost every day on Hey, What the Puck. What college coaches are doing in today's college athletics, football, basketball, doesn't matter, will have harm to athletes in the future, because what they're allowing these athletes and these young people to do is just quit and move on. And they've been doing it for quite some time. There is no loyalty anymore. There's no follow through. There's no commitment. It's just, if you don't get your way, move on and change jobs, change places, change locations. You've got players leaving, jumping out of the portal, not liking their situation. I don't want to sit and work hard. Well, why do they have to do it? Coaches are doing it all the time. Assistant coaches, head coaches. You got teams now bailing on bowl games because they were left out of a college football playoff. And I'm frank, I don't like. There's too many bowl games anyways. But if you're a senior never playing football again, you really don't want to play one more game. Not just one more. But it's easy now. It's because it's the amount of greed and just the no team element anymore is around in college athletics. It's just about me. So much damage done. It's surprising because the ratings are still through the roof, but so much damage done. I just think life lessons for these kids as they get older, bad. Not all of them. I mean, some kids do have a commitment, but it's hard to have a commitment when the people that are leading you don't have a commitment there as well. Kind of a sad state of affairs of where we're at with college athletics. All right, that's Hey, What the Puck. Again, reach out to Restoration One for any of the issues that you have at your residential or commercial property, any type of damage, whether it's water, fire, mold, what have you. Restoration One's going to take care of you, the North Seattle franchise. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We could not do it without your support. Limback Lumber, Georgetown Brewery, Flat Stick Pub, Restoration One. Your daily support helps us do this every single day. And forever grateful to you and to Brotherton Cadillac, a clean streak, / also Bright Owl Lighting and the Angry Beaver for their support for the go-to guy every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you. Today's Daily Puck Drop, find it up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel. You may watch it on YouTube, but maybe not a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button. Nothing bad's going to happen. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify, the two main ones. You're there. You can leave a comment. Please rate the show. If you like it, it would be great. Also, visit us at pucksports.com. There you can sign up to become a Pucks Posse member for just $5 a month. You're going to support all the free content. In addition, you get bonus shows every single week. We'll have another Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish coming out later this week on Wednesday. Another Thursday edition with KJ Arntz is out. We have the very latest installment of the Sports Pit is out now. We recorded last week, so that is available with Matt Stretch Johnson and Steve Sandmeyer. And, we released it on Friday, not a weekly thing, but we'll give you bonus shows periodically that aren't just weekly shows. But we caught up with Tim Brando, Fox Sports, college football broadcaster, announcer, and just talking about the greed, the ill wills. How would we change college football? That came out on Friday, by the way. May not know. It's 25 minutes, trying to keep these a little short, 25 minutes. He just has great perspective on what's wrong with college football and what needs to change with college football from a guy that I think should be the czar of college football, along with Neuheisel, by the way, would be Tim Brando. So catch it all there. Also, we now produce the Garage with Gas Take 5 podcast, which will be out later this afternoon. Appreciate, again, everyone checking in. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Show on Tuesday. Danny Kelly from The Ringer talks NFL. Sean Canzano talking college football. We'll get his take on the very latest. He wrote about it. Chip Kelly and Rick Neuheisel want the Wazoo job. Why would those two guys be a good fit in Pullman or not? We'll get the very latest with Canzano coming up on tomorrow's show. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese.